So here's my loadout for my overnighter tonight. The plan basically is to leave today, do some riding, pull into camp in the evening, get it all set up, stay overnight, and then head out for some more riding tomorrow. What I've got is pretty light. I don't have a lot of kit in this because it's just going to be one night. But this doesn't change too much based on the amount of time that I'm going to go out into the woods or I'm going to go out on my ride adventure. A few things get augmented, a few things get added, and some things may get taken away, but overall, this is my system and this is what's been working for me. I love camping. I do a lot of camping, actually, and I've been camping since I was a little kid. A lot of times my dad and my brothers and I would go out into the woods and just spend a night out. And my dad used to be a really, really good cub leader, scout leader, so he would take the kids out on these week-long adventures through the backcountry of New Brunswick, and they would come back with just a ton of memories, and that's what it's all about. So don't ever feel like you can't just pack up your bike and go, on a weekend. Say it's Friday, you just get home from work, load the bike up, head out into the woods, stay overnight and enjoy the woods and the nature, and then come on back home. You don't always have to go out on some week-long adventure or some 2-month excursion that takes you to the ends of the earth. You're going to get adventures and you're going to get memories and you're going to get things that you can remember and smile about, regardless of whether or not you're out there for your whole life or if you're out there just for a night. So tonight, we're just out for a night. But I'll show you a little bit of what I've got and how I pack it, and show you the areas that you can augment to make this last you a little bit longer. And yeah, let's go over a little bit. So first off, luggage. I was really lucky when I bought my KLR from Bolger Motorsports. They threw in the KLR luggage. Now, one thing to note about this is that it's definitely not waterproof. It's water resistant, but if you get into a heavy rain, water is going to seep through these zipper seals and it's going to accumulate. So the first thing that you want to do is whenever you put something into a bag, make sure you put it into a garbage bag first, cinch it up real tight, and then seal it all up. That'll make sure that you've got that extra layer of waterproofing there to protect it. And anything that's really susceptible to rain and to water, you want to give that its own waterproofing. So you can see I got a lot of Ziploc bags against the things that I really want to keep dry here. So let's take a look at some of these things. First off, we have the bed mat. Bed mat is really important. In any kind of camping, whenever you sleep on the ground, you want to have a separation between your body and that ground. Be it an inflatable mattress that gives you a separation of air, or be it a bed mat here like this one that gives you some insulated material, the foam, that will get your body off the ground. The minute your body contacts the ground is going to take that heat away from your body. And that's going to be a real problem overnight because it's going to chill you right out and you're going to freeze. So this I like a lot. I got this for $30 at Cabela's, but you can find them on Amazon if you search for bed mats. It's got that insulated foam material, but also has these little pockets here, and these pockets will trap air, and when you have that air and the insulation, it does a really good job, but it's also very thin and it doesn't take up a lot of space on your bike. I've got some paracord that's rolled up with it here because paracord is also useful for quite a lot of things. Next thing here is a hoodie. Hoodie's really good in the morning if you want to throw it on when it's nice and cold. Also, you got a hood with it, so you can throw that up and get away from the bugs a little bit. Plus, it's a great pillow. This is a little bit of a gaiter or a face mask. I wear these when I ride all the time just to keep my neck protected from bugs banging into me, but it's also good to throw it over your eyes when you sleep, and you can put it on your neck as you get into the campsite and help you keep away from the bugs as well. A lot of bug mitigation in my life when I go camping. The next part is a sleeping bag. So this sleeping bag here is a really cool find. It was again about $30. I found it at Princess Auto in what I like to call the mystery corner, which is usually in the back left of the building. It's the surplus corner, but you find a lot of cool stuff there. And that one time I found a really good late spring, early fall, summer sleeping bag, and this is compressed quite a bit down. It had that nice compression straps with it. This is big enough to sleep someone who's over 6 feet, which I am, so it works great for me. The next is my hammock. I am a hammock person. I really enjoy hammocks when it's right. Sometimes if you're camping in the winter and there's snow on the ground, you got to tent up and you have to have some sort of Arctic tent with a liner that's going to keep you safe there. But a hammock is great for the late spring and the early fall. and you can really tailor it to do what you want. I like it because it can compress down again. I love compressing things because it saves that physical space in your luggage. But this, I got this on Amazon for about $70. It was definitely worth it because it includes a bug net that you can zip up, and it also compresses down like I mentioned. But I've added a couple things. I've added some hammock straps in here, which are just some nylon straps that wrap around the tree and then back on themselves, and they include D-links that you can clip the hammock onto. And I also included a tarp, a small tarp that's just the length of the hammock. You always want to get a tarp that's at least the length of the hammock so that you can cover head to toe in case it rains. Hopefully we won't have to deal with too much rain on this trip, but I have it just in case. Always bring a tarp. That's the takeaway. The next part here is just a little bit of a toiletries kit, or like an ablutions kit, some people call it. So this is your deodorant, your toothbrush, etc. Some baby wipes in there too, in case you want to give yourself the old baby wipe shower. But this is a really good kit, actually. I got this from a site called CP Gear, and it is actually a wash basin as well. So when you unzip it and you pour everything out, all your kit out, you can fill it full of water, and it's great for a shave. Here's my motorcycle toolkit, another CP Gear pouch. These have lasted a lot of really good punishment, so I definitely endorse that kind of stuff. But you can find bags like this anywhere. Got the OG coffee cup here. We got a hatchet, a machete, a sharp pocket knife. So make sure you give your knife a sharp before you go out. Headlamp is critical. I go for headlamps all the time over flashlights, even though there is a flashlight in here. A headlamp is less likely to get lost, I find, because when I get into a tent or if I get into my hammock, I usually strap it on to like a little piece of paracord and it hangs down, and then it's right there for that 2 in the morning washroom run that you need to make. So it makes it a little bit easier to find your way around the woods when it's pitch black, and it will be pitch black unless there's a good moon. Got a little bit of a lighter here, always good to bring. Quick and dirty first aid kit. It's got some toilet paper in there too, some Band-Aids, but it also has a field dressing, which is really handy to have in case things get serious. Another good little tip too is if you do have a first aid kit and you put it into your bike luggage, if you have a way to mark on outside of your bike luggage that there's a first aid kit in there, and you wipe out and you crash hard and you're unconscious, if first responders pull up to your bike and they see that there's some indication of a first aid kit in there, or if someone who knows first aid comes upon your crash, they're gonna go right for that, and those are some extra seconds that you can buy yourself. So I know that there's some really good tank bags that are actually first aid bags that you can put on your, or your crash bar bags that you can put there, and they can have that little red cross on them. If you see that, put that first aid in there. People will instinctively know to go to that. This is what I call a next of skin set. So this is a t-shirt that has some underwear and socks rolled up into it. This is one of the areas where you want to augment if you're going to be going out for a long time. So for just one night, I'm going to bring a spare set for the next day. If I went out for a week, I probably have 3 of these. For a weekend, 2 of these. You don't want to carry too much. You don't ever want to bring your whole wardrobe when you go camping or anything like that, because you want to make sure you preserve the space. But you can rotate these out and let them air dry overnight and through the day in your campsite if you like. Got some snacks here. Some Mr. Noodles, extra baby wipes, foot powder. Again, like seeing all these things waterproofed in their own Ziploc baggies. Got a coffee kit with some breakfast in there, got some trail mix, some sugar, and some coffee. Got a bungee cord. I only have 1. I like to bring 3, but the only reason why I have 1 is just because I can't find my 2 others. So I'll fix that before I go. Bug spray, critical. As soon as I get into campsite, this is usually on the top of my kit, and I'll layer myself up in like a few layers of bug spray just to keep all the bugs off. There's all sorts of alternatives to using DEET or different bug sprays that you want to try out there. Whatever your bug mitigation strategy is, definitely make sure it's on the top of the bag, because when you roll into your kit or into your campsite, you want to get out your kit right away. And I'll tell you one thing, the place I'm going to tonight has a lot of evergreens, and it's got a stream as well that's close by, so we have a lot of standing water in the stream. Got to be a lot of mosquitoes, got a lot of evergreens, cedars, spruce. There's going to be black flies, and this place is really bad unless you have a lot of good bug spray. Another really good tip here too is mosquitoes and things like that are attracted to heat. So they see the human body and they see the heat from the human body and they zero right in on it. So what else is going to give heat when you're out in the woods? Your motorcycle engine. So if you put your camp, or if you put your bike right next to your tent, all the bugs are just going to swarm into your tent because they're going to see the heat coming off that engine. Watch it when you park in and step back a little bit. Watch the cloud of bugs around your engine. It's really, really crazy. I learned that lesson the hard way. So make sure you park your bike a little bit away from the tent. Not too far, but enough to make sure that you're not getting in on that business. And some camp shoes here. These are pretty rough, but that's what camp shoes are for. Just something else to wear instead of your motorcycle boots. Water is critical, another augmentation. You want to always have water. What I like to do is I'll fill up these, or I'll have a third, or they'll be larger, or I'll have a water jerry. If I'm going on like a week-long event, I'll usually have these and a water jerry. Like you can buy Rotopak's water jerrys that are like white and you can stick them right on the side. But I won't touch those. Those are like almost emergency water. Usually what I'll do, since I'm on the road, I'll stop in at a gas station every time I fill up, bottle of water. Buy a bottle of water, down it right there at the gas station, on your way. Keep hydrated. Nothing's worse than being dehydrated when you're camping and then you're all tucked into your sleeping bag and you start getting those dehydration cramps where your legs just start to seize up and there's really nothing you can do about it unless you just hop out, or you get the dehydration headaches. Those are just terrible. So make sure you're hydrating. Make sure you're drinking water at a lot of times. And also we have the jet boil. This is my little stove. This is all I take. I have everything I need to set it up in here. Also got a KFS, or a knife, fork, and spoon. And this all goes in and it slips down in that little pocket. Again, things you can find on Amazon. Excellent. So I've got all this stuff here. Time to pack it up into the motorcycle. Time to double check and see how it all fits. All right, so kit is all loaded up. Last minute checks just to make sure everything is nice and tidy on the bike. Everything is nice and waterproofed. And I'm feeling good about it. Next thing that I'm gonna do with this bike is I'm gonna take it for a quick ride before I step off. And that's just so I can find out what's gonna fall off of it. To see if anything isn't secured enough. It'll roll away on the road that's about 2 minutes from my house, as opposed to roll away on the road that's about 2 hours from my house, right? And then you lose something critical. So I also get a little bit of a feel for how the bike weighs now, and kind of tune myself with the motorcycle to have all this extra weight on it. So it's a good idea to get it out there. Also, before you step off too, and before probably you load all this up, you want to do a really good inspection on your bike too. So this is going to be the more elaborate pre-ride inspection. Check your tire pressure, check your brakes, check your electrical, take a look at your chain slack. Do all those things that you like to do to make yourself feel safe and just to have that peace of mind on the road, because the last thing you want to do is to have a fix on the side of the road. Be prepared for it, but make sure that you rule out a lot of the easy to find things before you take off. So let's take a look at the way this sorted out. Now, packing anything for camping, there's a strategy to it. That's depending on whether or not you're going out camping and you're driving out in a truck and you're camping out to a site, or if you're hiking into a campsite in the middle of the woods. You want to have a strategy to the way you pack. So here's a little bit of how I pack this up. Overall, the first thing that I like to note is that this is pretty clean. There isn't a lot of things hanging off of it. There's not a lot of things unsecured. Everything is really accessible. Things that I would augment if I need to take more is I would put on some crash bar bags. I would have a tank bag on here as well. But where this is just an overnighter for me, and where I've got most of my system taking care of me and my existing luggage, I don't really need to worry about that, so why bother putting it on? If you don't need to take the kit, don't take the kit. It's less things to worry about, it's less things to have on your mind, and lets you enjoy the ride and lets you be a little bit more nimble on the trails. So, of course, my bed mat is up here. I've got it set up with a nice webbing as well. And this serves as a really good backrest, actually. It's gonna be a long ride. I'd like to chill out and have it. The machete's just kind of stuck in there as well, since it's a good place to just pull it out when you're camped out. You need to chop down some limbs, then make a nice little spot for your tent, or if you need to get those little seedlings out of the way so you can lay your tent down, or if you want to have some space on the tree branches so that you can set up your hammock, that's a really good thing to have right away and available. So I throw the top case open. My top case has got most of my sleep system and my clothes, but the first thing that I see is my bug spray. As soon as you want to get into camp, you're gonna get that bug spray all over you. Another thing that's quick to find too, right in the top pouch, the headlamp. Headlamp is quick, easy to find, because who knows, maybe you went a little bit extra on your trail riding, you found some really cool trails you didn't expect to find, and you're getting into camp in the middle of the night. Setting up camp in the middle of the night in pitch black is definitely doable. I do that a lot when I'm camping out in maybe the fall and in the late spring and then through the winter. It's actually rare for me to camp in the broad daylight. So having that headlamp readily available for you is very key. Side bags, again, we've got our water and our hoodie there, bike bag. On the side here, got some food. Again, everything's waterproof, but it's quite tidy, and that's the key. Keep things tidy, keep things efficient, make it easier on you when you get into camp that there's not a lot of work to do to go setting it up. So, I'm all ready to ride. It's time to get out there and enjoy some adventuring.